A storm rages over a castle that looks like a tomb, its spires piercing a sky that offers no mercy. In this place, the air is thick with the scent of wet earth and impending tragedy. Inside, a lone maid walks the silent corridors, the soft click of her heels the only rhythm in a house that feels like it's holding its breath. She carries a single candle, its flame a fragile shield against the oppressive shadows that cling to the stone walls. Every flicker of the wick reveals shapes in the darkness, whispers of movement that shouldn't be there. Suddenly, she stops. A presence looms, colder and sharper than the draft blowing through the hall.
The light catches on something bright and singular, reflecting a terror she hasn't yet realized is her own. The flame dances wildly, as if trying to scream, illuminating the edge of a fate she cannot outrun. She stares into the void, her breath hitching as the realization of what stands before her begins to take root. Her eyes widen, reflecting the sudden, violent shift in the room's energy. Something has found her. Panic surges, a primal instinct that tells her this is the end of her story. The darkness roars, a silent sound that vibrates through her very bones as the nightmare takes physical form. Through the haze of terror, a face appears.
Beautiful, cold, and splattered with the evidence of a fresh sin. The candle falls, its light pooling around boots stained with the heavy, dark crimson of a life recently snuffed out. A hand reaches down, not to help, but to reclaim the light. The grip is steady, devoid of any human warmth. He looks up, his gaze piercing through the screen and into the soul of anyone watching. This is the face of a monster who knows he's being observed. But wait, this isn't reality. It's a screen, a game, a piece of digital horror that's currently terrifying its player to the core. She recoils, her chair scraping against the floor. This game, notorious for its difficulty and grotesque realism, is living up to its reputation. Why is the killing motion so fluid? Why does the blood look so heavy? It's enough to make even a seasoned gamer feel sick. In the world of The Murderer of Count Paltstraff, death is the only constant. A single mistake leads to a gruesome end. The graphics are praised as masterpieces, but the gameplay is a punishing descent into madness that most players abandon in frustration. She stares at her monitor, wondering why she spent money on this masterpiece of misery. Maybe it's time for a refund, but curiosity is a dangerous thing. She watches the loading bar creep forward, sinking back into the dark allure of the narrative. The title screen looms, a grim promise of the story to come. New game, a choice she's made a dozen times tonight. The lore begins to unfold, speaking of pilgrims lost in a world beneath the cliff, a place where the sun never shines. It tells of Satan, a fallen power who sought dominion over a river of blood and a kingdom of emptiness. It recounts the moment the blade pierced a queen's heart, unleashing a curse that would echo through the ages. Lilith, the queen of dream-eaters, cast her final judgment upon the one who betrayed her. The curse was simple, yet devastating. Satan would be forced to survive while wearing the skin of a weak, fragile human. He would feel every illness, every pang of hunger, and the constant tightening noose of mortality. A god of death would watch his endless cycle of life and suffering, denying him the peace of a natural end. He is condemned to kill and kill again, trapped in a loop of violence that serves only to prolong his agony. The player sighs, exhausted by the sheer weight of the game's tragedy. It's beautiful, yes, but so relentlessly dark. A system notification pings. You have entered the game. A standard message, or so she thinks. The protagonist, Adrian, looks so innocent in his chibi form, yet his dialogue is filled with a cold, demonic boredom. To progress, he must kill. To kill, he must not be caught. It's a delicate dance of murder and stealth. One wrong move, one wandering maid, and it's over. The screen fades to black yet again. She groans, her head spinning from the alcohol and the repetitive failure. This game is a masterpiece of frustration. The atmosphere is too much, the candles too bright against the red roses. It's suffocatingly immersive. She leans in, her eyes reflecting the golden glow of the protagonist's eyes. He is undeniably handsome, even as a killer. There's a strange pull to him, a magnetism that defies the horrific things he does on screen. Perhaps that's the real horror, the way beauty masks a monster so perfectly. It's well past 2 a.m. Her vision blurs, the room around her fading as sleep finally claims her. Her body feels heavy, like it's being submerged in deep, cool water. The transition is seamless, a slow sink into nothingness. She opens her eyes, but the light is different. It's not the glow of a monitor, but the soft morning sun of a world she doesn't recognize. She is sinking, but she isn't drowning. She is falling into a story she only meant to watch. The spires of a grand estate rise into a clear blue sky. Birds chirp, and the air smells of fresh linen and expensive perfume. She wakes up in a bed that isn't hers, her head pounding with a hangover that feels remarkably real. The room is simple, a servant's quarters. This isn't her apartment. This isn't her life. She tries to piece together the night before. Alcohol, the game, the frustration, and then this. A door bangs open, the sound echoing like a gunshot in the quiet room. An older woman stands there, her face set in a permanent scowl. She demands to know why the maid is still in bed. A system window pops up in the air. Letitia, the loyal housekeeper. The realization hits like a physical blow. This isn't a dream. The fear in her chest is too sharp, the cold air on her skin too vivid. Hilda? Me? The name feels wrong in her mouth, a label for a character she was supposed to be controlling. Letitia has no patience for nonsense. There is medicine to be delivered to the young master, and work to be done. The housekeeper's irritation is palpable. In this world, servants who don't follow the roles don't last long. Another window appears. Hilda, level 1. It's a status screen. She's not just in the game, she's a part of the mechanics. She tries to convince herself her mind is just playing tricks, a lingering effect of the booze, but the ding of the system is unmistakable. It's a sound that promises both guidance and a very real threat. She stares at the empty air, her heart hammering against her ribs. If she's Hilda, then she's the one who gets killed first. The system confirms her worst fear. She has entered the game. And this game only has one genre: horror. A young woman enters carrying a pile of clothes. She looks kind, a stark contrast to the stern Letitia. Emily, Hilda's friend, a popular maid known for her skill. She's another piece of the puzzle, a face from the digital world made flesh. The horror of the situation settles in. This isn't a dating sim. There are no handsome men to sweep her off her feet, only a monster waiting to strike. Emily urges her to get ready. The young master is waiting, and his medicine cannot be delayed. The girl looks at her friend, searching for any sign that this is a joke, but Emily's concern is genuine. She touches her forehead, checking for a fever. She decides to deliver the medicine herself, letting her friend rest. Left alone, the player collapses back onto the bed. This is insane. This is impossible. Why a horror game? Of all the worlds to be trapped in, why the one where the protagonist is a serial killer? She closes her eyes, wishing she could just wake up back in her messy apartment. She imagines a different world, a dating simulator filled with flowers and gentle smiles. But the reality is much darker. The castle she saw on the screen is now her home, and its secrets are her problem. Every corner of this place holds a memory of a game over she witnessed from the safety of her desk. She thinks of Adrian, the beautiful boy with the blue eyes and the bloody hands. He is the center of this nightmare. Is he already the monster she knows him to be? Or is there still time to change the script? She picks up her new uniform, a maid's dress, a disguise, a target. System: maid uniform obtained. The credits roll in her mind, a list of developers who created this hell. But there's no exit button here. The game has begun, and she has to play to survive. In most games, you get a choice. You can be the valiant warrior, the cunning archer, or the powerful mage. But this isn't most games. I'm relegated to the role of Servant 3, a B-rank supporting character whose only real function is to act as a medicine shuttle. It definitely wasn't a choice I made with my own free will. My life is now dictated by code and pixels. I am trapped inside Murderer of the Peltstraff County, a horror-filled nightmare where the setting is beautiful and the stakes are lethal. The castle towers loom over me like a cage. This is the most frustrating game I've ever had the misfortune of playing, mainly because the exit button is broken. I can't leave, no matter how hard I try to shut the system down. Despite the horrific premise, the game mechanics are shockingly detailed. I have levels, experience points, and an avatar I have to maintain. Every morning, the system greets me with a list of mundane daily quests: pulling weeds, peeling onions. The life of a fantasy maid is far from glamorous. But beneath the chores lies a terrifying truth. My main task is delivering medicine to a sickly young master, who also happens to be a serial killer. I try to distract myself by admiring the scenery. The art team really went all out on these backgrounds, even if they're just part of my prison. But I can't afford to just stare at the sky. If I want to survive this strange world, I have to play along and tackle these quests. First up, manual labor, or as the system calls it, pulling weeds. It's time to get to work. I head out into the gardens with Amelia, another maid who seems blissfully unaware of the horror we're actually in. We spend hours under the sun, clearing the flower beds bit by bit. It's tedious, but it's safe. Each weed pulled grants me a tiny sliver of experience. It's a slow grind, but every point counts when you're trying to level up a support character. I'm becoming surprisingly efficient at this. My hands move almost on autopilot, clearing the dirt with practiced ease. Suddenly, a notification pops up. Something about my condition is changing. Is it a buff or something worse? It's a new title. I am now officially a weed-pulling expert. Not exactly the legendary hero status I was hoping for. Still, a title is a title. In this world, money and stats are the only things that provide even a semblance of security. Driven by my new expertise, I start working even faster. I'm a blur of motion, clearing the flower beds in record time. But in my haste, I make a catastrophic mistake. I pull out a rare white flower by the roots, thinking it was just another weed. The color drains from my face as Letitia, the head maid, appears behind me. Her expression is pure fury. She starts screaming, hitting me with the very plants I just destroyed. Apparently, I didn't just pull a weed, I killed the Count's favorite flowers. The widow's thrill flowers are dead, and my hopes for a peaceful day are buried right alongside them. Letitia isn't finished. She announces to the entire garden that the cost of these flowers will be deducted directly from my daily wages. I can feel the sting of her words more than the hits. I worked so hard for that gold, and now it's vanishing because of a single pixelated error.
The other maids start whispering. To them, I'm just a clumsy girl who keeps making trouble. They don't understand the pressure I'm under. Letitia snaps at them to get back to work. No breaks until every single weed is gone. The atmosphere in the garden has turned cold. I listen to them gossip about me, their voices filled with judgmental pity. It's hard to remember they aren't real people. I stare at them, a hollow feeling growing in my chest. I'm the only one here with a soul, yet I'm the one being treated like a broken tool. They're all just data, strings of code and pieces of memory. Yet they have the power to make my life an absolute hell. Amelia approaches me cautiously. She looks worried, but I can't tell if it's genuine or just a programmed response to my distress. I apologize to her for getting her in trouble, too. In a world this cruel, even small kindnesses feel like they carry a heavy price. She turns away, her expression unreadable. This game doesn't just test your survival skills, it tests your sanity. But then, she smiles. A bright, cheerful expression that feels almost out of place in this dark setting. She tells me we should just finish up. I force a smile back. I have to keep my head down and keep playing. That's the only way to find a way out. Work finally ends. We carry our baskets of weeds back to the manor, our shadows lengthening as the sun begins to set. The castle looks even more ominous in the orange glow of twilight. The daytime chores are over, but the real horror is about to begin. Back in my room, I collapse onto the bed. I open the system window to check my earnings for the day, hoping for some good news. A notification pings. My daily wages have been deposited, plus 30 gold. It's a pittance, but it's mine. I check my total balance. 330 gold. It's not much, but I've been saving every coin I could find. Then, a red warning box flashes. A heavy loss has been incurred for destroying the garden. Minus 250 gold. I stare in shock as my balance plummets. Almost all my savings gone in an instant because of some stupid flowers. I feel like I'm in a trashy simulation. What kind of world punishes a support character this severely for a simple mistake? I sigh, watching the system window float in the air. It's mocking me. My hard work has been completely erased by a single line of code. Something inside me snaps. I'm tired of being pushed around by a broken game and a world that wants me dead. I start punching the air, screaming at the invisible system. I demand to be sent back to my real life. I'm done with this pause game. My fist connects with the floating exit button. I don't care if it's glitched. I'm going to smash my way out of here if I have to. I hit it again and again, pouring all my frustration into every strike. "Send me back!" I scream into the empty room. Suddenly, the screen flickers, the exit button glows, and for a split second, I think it actually worked. But instead of my bedroom, a loading screen appears. My stomach drops. What did I just do? An exclamation mark flashes. The system is reacting to my input, but not in the way I hoped. Panic starts to set in. I realize I might have accidentally triggered a new game or a total reset. I drop to my knees, begging the system to stop. I clasp my hands together in a desperate prayer. If the game resets, I'll lose everything. I'll be back at level 1 with no knowledge of what's coming. Tears prick at my eyes. I was so angry I didn't think. Please, world's strongest legend, godly master, don't let it reset. The loading screen persists. I feel like a fool. I let my emotions get the better of me, and now I might have doomed myself. The screen finally clears. I check my stats, my breath hitching in my throat. The good news is, my gold is back. The system glitched in my favor. I quickly straighten my apron, trying to calm my racing heart. I'm still Hilda. I'm still a maid, and I'm still in this nightmare. A voice calls out from the hallway, asking if I'm ready. It's time for the one task I dread more than anything else. I look at myself in the mirror. I have to stay focused. One mistake during the medicine delivery won't just cost me gold, it'll cost me my life. The internal system still seems a bit buggy after my outburst. I just hope my luck holds out for the next few minutes. I'm late. Letitia catches me in the hall and gives me a sharp slap. She warns me about a knife-wielding person seen outside, adding to the tension. She reminds me that I even tried to pawn this task off on Katerina a few days ago, but Adrian personally ordered me to do it. I have no choice.
I grab the tray with the medicine and the meal, my hands shaking as I head toward the master's wing.
The hallways are dark and silent, lit only by a few flickering lamps. Every shadow looks like a monster waiting to pounce. The floorboards creak under my boots. In a horror game, silence is never a good sign. It's the calm before the kill. I move slowly, trying to keep the tray steady. Every step feels like I'm walking deeper into a predator's den. My plan is simple. Leave the tray outside his door and run. I've done it before, and I'll do it again tonight. I can't believe I have to risk my life just to deliver soup and medicine, but that's the rule of this strange world. I reach the door to Adrian's quarters. It's heavy and dark, a barrier between me and the monster inside. I take a deep breath, trying to steady my nerves. If I can just get through this, I can go back to my room and hide under the covers. I carefully lower the tray to the floor. The clink of the glass sounds like a gunshot in the oppressive silence of the hallway. I'm about to turn and bolt when I hear a sound from inside. A slow, rhythmic thud. Footsteps. I freeze. My heart is pounding so hard I can feel it in my throat. He's coming to the door. A shadow falls across the floorboards. Someone is standing right on the other side of that wood, watching me. I try to back away, but my legs feel like lead. I'm staring at the tray, wishing I had never come here. Sweat beads on my forehead. The air feels heavy, thick with the scent of old dust and something metallic, something like blood. The door handle turns, slowly, deliberately. The sound of the latch clicking open is the most terrifying thing I've ever heard. A pair of black boots steps into the hallway, polished, expensive, and utterly terrifying. He's here. I look up, my gaze traveling from the floor to the figure standing before me, the serial killer protagonist of this nightmare. My breath hitches. I try to find my voice, to say anything to keep myself alive, but nothing comes out. I'm staring into the face of a murderer, and he's looking right back at me with eyes that see everything. "Did you call me?" he asks. His eyes glow with an eerie blue light, and I realize that my survival just got a lot more complicated. I'm trapped, paralyzed on the floor while the most dangerous man in this mansion towers over me. In this world, the social hierarchy is a weapon, and he holds all the power. Those blue eyes, they aren't looking at a maid, they're looking at prey. He's the protagonist of this horror game, which means he's the one who writes the rules of my survival. I can feel my own pulse thundering in my ears. He hasn't moved, hasn't said a word, but the pressure of his gaze is enough to make me want to scream. The tray clatters, ceramic shattering against the wood like a warning bell. I can't stop my voice from trembling as I scramble to apologize, desperate to keep my eyes on the floor. Pieces of the tea set are scattered everywhere. It's a mess, a distraction, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm currently at the mercy of a serial killer. I keep my head low, pleading for forgiveness.
In a world where a maid's life is worth less than the cup I just broke, any mistake can be fatal. I tell him I'll clean it up immediately. My hands are shaking so hard I'm worried I'll just cut myself on the shards. But I have to keep moving. My mind is racing. Adrian is supposed to be the hero, but I know the truth hidden behind his beautiful face. He's the monster I have to survive. I'm completely alone in this dark hallway with him.
Not a single soul is around to hear me if things go wrong. It's the perfect setting for a tragedy. He's watching me with those unnerving eyes. It's like he can see right through my fear, deep into the secrets I'm trying so hard to hide. Every second of silence feels like a minute. I could really wind up dead right here, and the game would just keep on going without me. Since it's just the two of us, he could do whatever he wants. If he decides to kill me now, there's no one to stop him, and no way for me to fight back. How do I get away? I need an exit strategy, a lie, anything to break the suffocating tension and get back to the safety of the kitchens. Should I just turn around and run?
The thought crosses my mind, but my legs feel like lead, anchored to the floor by pure terror.
But if I'm caught, then what? I know what he's capable of. I've seen the way he deals with those who get in his way. I've seen him kill before. It's always in a flash, a sudden burst of violence that leaves no room for escape. Running would only make the hunt more entertaining for him. He kneels beside me, his hand reaching out with a terrifying gentleness. When he touches my shoulder, every instinct I have screams for me to bolt. He calls my name softly, his voice smooth and calm. It's the ultimate role reversal. The monster is acting like a concerned master to his clumsy servant. I flinch at the contact, my body reacting before my mind can stop it. He has to notice how much I'm trembling. He asks if I was surprised because he appeared so suddenly. He's playing the part of the considerate gentleman, but I know it's just a mask. He offers an apology, his face lit with a gentle smile that doesn't reach his eyes. It's a calculated kindness, designed to lower my guard. I stare back, my eyes wide with a fear I can't hide. He's so good at this act that it's almost believable, which makes him even more dangerous. I try to stammer out a response, telling him it's all right. I just need to keep the conversation short and get out of here. He continues to act sorry for surprising me. He's leaning in, his presence taking up all the space in the hallway, making it impossible to breathe. He mentions that I've been acting strange lately. He's noticed. He knows I've been avoiding him, and that realization sends a new wave of panic through me. He looks almost hurt, like a lonely boy who's been rejected by his only friend. It's a masterful performance, a trap built of soft words and sad glances. He brings up the fact that I've only been leaving his medicine outside his door instead of bringing it to him. He's calling me out on my avoidance. He wonders aloud if he did something wrong. He's putting the burden of the awkwardness on me, forcing me to explain myself. Or, he says, if there's something I'm hiding from him. My heart stops. That's the real question, the one that could end my life if I answer it wrong. He stares at me, waiting for an answer. The silence is a physical weight, pressing down on me until I'm about to break. Every word he says just sounds so creepy to me. I know the truth behind the mask, and his gentle tone feels like a blade pressed against my throat. I'm trapped in the shadow of his expectations. He wants to know why I'm avoiding him, and I have to find a lie that he'll accept. He brings up the medicine again, questioning why I wouldn't just come in. He's circling the truth, and I'm running out of room to maneuver. I can't look him in the eye. I have to think of something, some excuse that fits the world rules and explains my behavior without revealing my fear. I have to lie. My life depends on this performance. I need to convince him that I'm just a diligent, if slightly eccentric, maid. I tell him I'm doing it for his sake. I have to make him believe that my strange actions are actually a sign of my devotion. I claim that as I've gotten older, I've realized I can't sleep in the morning. It's a ridiculous lie, but it's the best I can do under pressure. I tell him I had a thought, that if I wake up earlier and finish my duties quickly, I'll be able to fall asleep earlier too. I'm babbling now. I keep going, saying that if I live like that, it won't impact my work. I'm trying to sound like a maid who suddenly found a new sense of purpose. I emphasize that bringing his medicine is the most important part of my day. I'm laying it on thick, hoping the flattery will distract him from the holes in my story. I tell him I was worried I couldn't wake him up due to my lowly sleeping habits. I'm debasing myself, playing the part of the humble servant perfectly. He listens with a half smile, his eyes unreadable. I can't tell if he's buying it or if he's just amused by how hard I'm trying to lie to him. He seems to accept the explanation, but the way he looks at me doesn't change. The predatory edge is still there, lurking just beneath the surface of his politeness.
I'd try to make my escape, telling him I'll go get more medicine since this batch is on the floor. I just need to get away from him.
I start to back away, my movements quick and desperate. The hallway feels endless, a gauntlet I have to run before I'm safe. Step by step, I put distance between us. My boots click against the floor, the only sound in the oppressive silence of the mansion. He picks up a single pill from the floor. His fingers are long and elegant, the fingers of a pianist or a killer. It's a small, deliberate movement. He looks at the pill, then at me. There's a strange light in his eyes, a flicker of something that wasn't there before. He puts the pill in his mouth. He's actually taking it, even though it was on the floor. It's a bizarre, unsettling act that catches me off guard. He swallows it and asks if it's fine now. He sounds almost playful, like he's enjoying the confusion he's causing me. I'm stunned. I didn't expect him to actually do that. He's completely unpredictable, which makes surviving him almost impossible. He asks if I'm going to keep him hanging like this. He wants me to follow him, to stay in his presence a little longer. I have no choice but to follow him into his room. It's a place of quiet luxury, filled with the scent of old books and something colder. The shelves are lined with volumes that probably hold more secrets than the rest of the mansion combined. It's a room that feels lived in, yet strangely empty. His bed is neatly made, a stark contrast to the chaos I feel inside. Everything here is orderly, controlled, just like him. He stands by the window, his hand resting on the frame. He looks out at the grounds, his profile sharp against the light. He says the room is packed, but it has a lonesome sense to it. He's playing the tragic hero again, trying to draw me into his world. He claims he wants to chat, but now that we're here, he's not saying much. He's testing me, seeing how I'll react to the silence. I flash back to the real Adrian, the one covered in blood, eyes glowing with the thrill of the kill. That's the man standing in front of me right now.
The image of him with a knife, his face splattered with red, is burned into my mind. I can't look at his gentle smile without seeing the monster underneath. I have to stay focused. I can't let my fear show. If I want to live, I have to be the perfect maid, the one who doesn't notice anything wrong. I try to regain control of the situation, asking if he has anything scheduled for today. It's a normal, mundane question, a desperate attempt at normalcy. He turns to me, his expression softening. He mentions a guardian who came by this morning. He's sharing information, acting like we're confidants. His gaze lingers on me, his blue eyes searching mine. I can feel the weight of his attention, a heavy pressure that makes it hard to think. I have to get out of here. My priority is to survive, and that means putting as much distance between us as possible.
I tell myself to act naturally. If I can just make it through this conversation without slipping up, I might live to see tomorrow. I suggest that he must be tired and should change his clothes and turn in early. I'm trying to provide him with an excuse to dismiss me. I add that Mrs. Letitia has been worried about him. I'm using the head maid's name to add weight to my suggestion, making it sound like a shared concern. He looks at me for a long moment, then smiles. He agrees, saying he should probably rest if that's what I want. He calls my name again. Every time he says it, it feels like a reminder of who I am in this world, a servant, a tool, a victim. I offered to help him change, a standard duty for a maid, but one I'm dreading. I just want to leave this room and never come back. He tells me I don't have to go that far. He's letting me off the hook, but there is a catch. There's always a catch with him. Instead, Hilda, he says, the way he trails off makes my skin crawl. He's about to ask for something else, something I might not be able to provide. I wait, my heart pounding against my ribs. I'm on the edge of a precipice, and one wrong word from him could push me over. Before you leave, he begins, I can feel the tension in the room ratcheting up, a physical force that's almost unbearable. His hand moves, reaching for something in the shadows. My eyes are fixed on him, tracking every motion with the desperation of a cornered animal. He asks me to close the curtains. It's a simple request, yet in this dark room it feels like he's sealing us away from the rest of the world. He says it's a bit too bright. He's creating a sanctuary of shadows, a place where the rules of the outside world don't apply. I do as I'm told, my hands shaking as I pull the heavy fabric shut. The room plunges into near darkness, the only light coming from the flickering candles. He reminds me that I have to bring his medicine tomorrow as well. He's making sure I know that I can't escape him, not even for a day. He settles into bed, looking like the picture of innocence. But I know better. I know the darkness that lives inside him, the hunger that never sleeps. I reach for the doorknob, my hand trembling. I'm so close to freedom, yet I feel like I'm still being watched, even through the wood. He adds one final condition. If you're really doing it for my sake. He's making my survival dependent on my loyalty to him. I turn to look at him one last time. His face is half hidden in the shadows, but those blue eyes are as bright and cold as stars. Don't let me down. It's a direct threat, a warning that he's watching me. If I fail to play my part, if I slip up even once, I'm dead. I finally make it out of the room, leaning against the cold stone of the hallway. I survived. For now. But the game is just beginning, and the stakes are only going to get higher. A notification pings in my mind. I've completed my first real conversation with Adrian, and the experience points flood in. It's a grim reminder that this is all just a game to the world I'm in. But there's a silver lining. I've unlocked a new skill, perception. Maybe now I'll have a better chance of seeing the traps before they spring. In this mansion of horrors, every advantage counts. The shadows in this mansion feel heavier today, as if the portraits themselves are holding their breath, waiting for the next tragedy to strike. In a house where the walls are stained with secrets, even the most beautiful art feels like a warning of what's to come. Adrian sits at the center of this darkness, a quiet monster surrounded by melting wax and flickering flames. Those eyes are a deep, freezing blue. They don't just see you, they calculate how long it will take for your heart to stop. I have to blink just to make sure I'm still in the same reality. One moment it's a horror game, and the next, it feels like I've been dropped into a twisted parody of a high school drama. The social hierarchies are just as deadly as the monsters. We have the classic archetypes, the alpha leader keeping everyone on a leash, and the school prince who uses his looks to hide a dark streak. And then there's me, the confused transfer student just trying to survive until the end of the semester. Did this horror game really just turn into a teen movie? If only the consequences were as shallow as a bad grade. Back in the real world, the tension among the staff is reaching a breaking point. Jealousy is a dangerous thing when the master of the house is a killer. I try to keep my head down, but being singled out by Adrian has made me a target for more than just his blades. The other maids aren't letting me go that easily. Hands reach out to stop me, demanding answers I don't want to give. Dolores claims she's worried, but her grip says otherwise. She hates that an orphan like me is getting special treatment. The whispers start immediately. In this house, reputation is the only shield we have, and mine is being torn to shreds. They laugh behind their hands, convinced I'm using some low-born trick to gain Adrian's favor. I take a deep breath. If I can't beat them with logic, I'll have to use the one thing everyone in this mansion understands: superstition. I need to pivot. If I play the role of the incompetent, maybe they'll stop seeing me as a threat. Dolores looks stunned. She wasn't expecting me to agree with her about my own lack of skill. But I'm not just insulting myself. I'm setting the stage for a much bigger lie. If we're all useless, then none of us are special. It's a desperate attempt to level the playing field. They don't understand what I'm doing yet, but they're listening. That's the first step to control. I put on my best mystical face and declare that an evil spirit is haunting the estate. It's the perfect cover for Adrian's behavior. I explain that the mistress's anger isn't just personality, it's the spirit's influence. It sounds ridiculous, but in a place this dark, people want something to blame. Even the small things, like Katerina's constant tears in the kitchen, are suddenly part of my grand spiritual narrative. The more I talk, the more the atmosphere shifts. The skepticism turns into a collective, uneasy fear. I have to stop them from overthinking it. A well-placed revelation should keep them occupied for a while. I lean into the act, pretending to receive a message from the temple. It's a gamble, but I've got to play the cards I was dealt. I predict something specific, a sign that will prove the spirit is active today. I catch a movement out of the corner of my eye. The timing couldn't be more perfect. I shout out the warning just as a heavy pot begins to tilt. It's pure luck, but to them, it's divine intervention. The silence that follows is absolute. They're actually believing me. Even Dolores looks like she's seen a ghost. The power dynamic just flipped in a single moment. I wrap it up with a warning. If they fight, they'll wake the spirit. It's a "don't fight with friends" campaign, powered by pure terror. But the peace doesn't last. Dolores snaps back into her aggression, grabbing me before I can walk away. She's furious that I've made a fool of her, but she doesn't realize she's not the scariest person in this hallway. Suddenly, her hand is forced away. Someone has stepped in, and the air turns ice cold. Dolores freezes. The look on her face tells me that whoever just arrived is someone she truly fears. It's Katerina. She doesn't need to raise her voice to command the room. Her presence alone is a threat. The bullies scatter. It turns out even the meanest maids have someone they won't cross. Katerina gives me a soft look, but I can't help but wonder what lies beneath that gentle exterior. I thank her, trying to keep my voice steady. In this house, kindness often comes with a hidden price. We're in trouble again for being late, but that's the least of my concerns right now. I follow Letitia toward the young master's wing. The further we go, the more the mansion feels like a tomb. Having a companion is reassuring, but it also means there's someone else to witness any mistake I make. Letitia mentions that the room was clean yesterday. If it's a mess now, it means Adrian had a rough night. She warns me that there's a mountain of work waiting for us. Adrian's outbursts are physical, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. I learn that the Countess visited him after a nightmare. It was probably a dream about that day, the day everything changed. Letitia goes quiet. She's seen things she can't talk about, secrets that have aged her beyond her years. She dismisses the topic quickly, but I can't let it go. Every bit of lore is a potential survival tool. I can't let her know how little I actually understand about this world. I have to play the part of the seasoned servant. There were many nights worthy of nightmares in Adrian's past, but one event stands out above the rest. The baptism. The day the holy water didn't bless him, but burned his skin like acid. No one else witnessed the horror, but the trauma remained etched into his very soul. The servants began to whisper a name that no child should ever hear. They called him Satan. Most of the people who were there that day are gone now. Only a few remains carrying the burden of that memory. I realize now that the fear in this house isn't just about a serial killer. It's about something they believe is truly unholy. We reach the door. The simple act of turning the handle feels like a life or death decision. Even with Letitia by my side, the dread is overwhelming. Entering his private sanctuary is like stepping into a lion's den. I have to keep my eyes down. If I look too closely, I might see something I can't unsee. The room is a wreck, furniture overturned, papers scattered, a physical manifestation of a mind in chaos. Blood-red stains on the floor, catching the light. I pray it's just ink, but in this game, it rarely is. Adrian acknowledges us without looking up. He sounds calm, which is often more terrifying than his rage. He looks up, and for a split second, I see a flicker of something human in those eyes before the coldness returns. He complains about the eyes watching him. He wants the room cleaned quickly, as if removing the clutter will remove the gaze. I stumble over my words. Every interaction with him feels like walking a tightrope over an abyss. Letitia directs me to help. We move like ghosts, trying to be as unobtrusive as possible while he sits and reads. The sunlight streaming through the window feels out of place here. It's too bright, too honest for a room filled with such darkness. I can feel him watching me. Even when he's focused on his book, his attention is a heavy weight on my shoulders. The sound of a page turning is as loud as a gunshot in the oppressive silence. I tried to keep my distance, but the layout of the room forces me to move closer to him than I'd like. He looks so fragile in this light, like a prince from a fairy tale. It's hard to remember that he's the one who will eventually end me. He's reading something ancient. The script is foreign to me, but the aura it gives off is unmistakably grim. I reach for the medicine tray, my hands trembling. This is the moment I usually try to escape. I set the tray down, keeping my voice as neutral as possible. Just a maid doing her duty. He stops me. He doesn't want me to leave the tray outside anymore. He wants me in the room where he can see me. My heart hammers against my ribs. He's changing the routine, and in a horror game, change usually means danger. He accuses me of avoiding him. It's not an accusation, really. It's a statement of fact that he finds amusing. He says he's relieved. That one word carries a terrifying amount of possessiveness. He doesn't want his favorite toy to hide. I offer a weak excuse, my face hidden in the shadows. I have to play the role of the humble servant perfectly. He watches my every move, a predator tracking its prey. I wonder if he can hear my heart racing. His gaze is unsettlingly intense.
It feels like he's looking right through my skin, searching for the player inside. I keep my eyes closed, praying for the moment he lets me leave. The tension is thick enough to choke on. He finally turns away, his interest satisfied for now. But I know this is only a temporary reprieve. He dismisses me. The relief is so sharp it almost makes my knees buckle. Outside, the world is still bright and normal, a jarring contrast to the madness I just left behind. I lean against the cold stone wall, trying to regain my composure. Every encounter with him drains a little more of my soul. How much longer can I survive on this ice sheet?
One wrong word, one wrong look, and the floor will shatter. I have to think. I have to analyze his patterns if I want to stay ahead of the script. The puzzle pieces are starting to fit together. He kills the people who know his secret, the people who saw what happened at the baptism. Letitia is still inside. She's one of the few who remembers the Satan of his childhood. I grab Katerina, my voice frantic. I need to know where Letitia is, even though I already suspect the answer. Katerina looks confused by my sudden panic. She doesn't see the patterns I do. She doesn't know the genre of the world we're in. The realization hits me like a physical blow.
The puzzle is almost complete, and the final piece is a death sentence. The pieces are stained red. The history of this house is written in the blood of those who knew too much. Letitia is in the young master's room. She's alone with him, and she's the one person who can easily expose what he truly is. I look back at the closed door. Adrian is there, waiting. The game is moving forward, and I might be too late to stop the next murder.
The tension in this room is suffocating. I can barely breathe, let alone find my voice to answer. Adrian stands there, holding that book like a weapon. Every shadow in this room feels like a calculated trap. Every sound is amplified. The way he grips the spine, it's all wrong for someone supposed to be a saint. I'm paralyzed. In a horror game, the most dangerous moment is when the killer smiles directly at you. Letitia's name hangs in the air. I want to scream for her to run, but my throat is tight with dread. I see her there, kneeling. She has no idea she's serving a monster. Letitia looks up, confused. She wonders why I'm just standing here, frozen in the doorway. My eyes are fixed on him.
I know his secret, and in this world, that knowledge is a death sentence. The predator and the prey are in the same room, and I'm caught right in the middle. Adrian's shadow looms large. He's the protagonist of this horror, and I'm just a maid meant to be his first victim. He turns toward me. That effortless grace hides a mind that's already planned exactly how I'll end. He calls my name with a warmth that makes my skin crawl. He's playing his role perfectly. Letitia asks if he needs anything. She's so oblivious to the darkness radiating from him. She's checking on him, worried about his health. If only she knew what he was really capable of.
Adrian fidgets, looking like a bashful boy, while I watch his hands for any sudden, lethal movement. I freeze as he asks what's wrong. He's noticing my reaction, and I can't let him see the fear.
I force myself to be the loyal, slightly clumsy maid he expects me to be. Letitia excuses herself, leaving me alone with him. This is exactly what I was trying to avoid. She tells me to grab the blanket. It's a simple task, but my legs feel like heavy lead. I force a smile. If I survive this moment, it'll be a miracle. I need to test my new skill now, just one step at a time. The system is the only thing that can give me an edge in this nightmare. The sense skill. It's a gamble, but I have to know if it works the way I think it does. In a world governed by game logic, you follow the rules or you die. I tap the prompt. A red light flashes.
The alarm is silent to them, but it's deafening to my ears. A pulsing heart icon appears. This is my proximity sensor for the killer. It really worked. The system is actually giving me a way to track his presence in real time. He isn't planning to kill me this second, but in a horror game, intent can change with a single dialogue choice. I have no defensive skills, no armor, just this one sense to tell me when the end is near. Every step I take is measured. I have to figure out the range of this alarm before it's too late. He's right there, looking perfectly normal by the bookshelf, but the system knows better. The alarm flinches. It's reacting to his every move, a frantic heartbeat in the corner of my vision. It's beeping faster the closer he gets, the more the system screams at me to run for my life. I realize now that this skill isn't just a luxury. It's my only lifeline in this house. It's specifically tuned to Adrian. He is the center of the danger in this world. For a moment, I think I can breathe. I have a tool now. I have a chance at survival. But then I feel his gaze. My hand tightens on the fabric. He's watching me too closely. He asks if something is there. He's testing me, sensing my sudden distraction. Those blue eyes aren't human. They're scanning me for any sign of defiance or knowledge. He's smiling again. He hates it when I look at anything other than him. I try to deflect, making excuses about the blanket. Anything to hide the fact that I'm terrified. My fingers are trembling. These game mechanics are the only thing keeping me sane. Letitia interrupts us. She's my only way out of this room before I snap. Adrian watches me leave. He's disappointed. I've survived another encounter, but the game is far from over. He looks at the book in his hand. He knows something is different about me now. Night falls over the mansion. The stars are out, but there's no true peace in this house. Back in my room, the sewing machine sits silent. My only sanctuary is this small, cold space. I finally got paid. My wages are the only thing that feels real in this pixelated reality. I saved them today. But I start to wonder, what's the point of saving characters that just reset? If I die, it's over for good. But for them, death is just a temporary state, a new game button. That's all they need. I'm the only one here with a soul at stake. Stop overthinking. 55 gold pieces. That's my prize for surviving another day. Maybe I can buy my way out, an escape ticket. Anything to get me back to my own reality. I just want to sleep. My body is exhausted and my mind is at its breaking point. I grab my pillow, ready to finally drift off, but the fabric feels strange and brittle. A system window pops up. Durability? Even my bedding has a life bar in this world. It says it needs a repair fee. It looks fine to me, but the game says otherwise. Suddenly, it starts to disintegrate. This world won't even let me have a place to lay my head. It's literally coughing up feathers. The absurdity of these game rules is driving me mad. Zero durability. My pillow is dead. The system even gives it a tiny gravestone. And then it takes my gold. 50 pieces, gone in an instant. My wages swallowed by a repair mechanic. I'm left sitting here, stunned. I'm mourning a pile of feathers in a maid outfit. Fine, I'll sleep without a pillow. How hard can it be to just lie down on the mattress? I close my eyes, determined to get some rest. I don't need luxury to survive. I'm tossed off the bed by an invisible force. The system has a rule for everything. My eyes snap open. I'm shocked, confused, and rapidly losing my patience with this world. You cannot sleep without a pillow. It's a hard-coded, cruel rule. I try again. I'll force myself to stay down. I should be able to override this logic. I'm fighting the very air around me. The physics of this game are working against my rest. I scream at the ceiling. I just want to sleep. Why are the rules so cruel? A warning appears.
No sleep means no work tomorrow and no pay. It's a vicious cycle. I'm being thrown around like a rag doll. The room is a whirlwind of system errors. Every time I try to lie back, that window pops up. It's mocking me. The bed is a battlefield. I'm diving for the mattress like my life depends on it. I can do this. I don't need a pillow. I'll sleep on my arm if I have to. Another thud. The system is relentless. It won't let me break immersion. The ding sound is becoming the soundtrack to my descent into madness. I stagger back, breathless. My own room has become a torture chamber of game design. I won't give up. I'll keep trying until I pass out from pure exhaustion. Attempt number 328. I'm fighting a digital god just for 8 hours of rest. My gold is at 0, my energy is gone, and the sun is already starting to come up.